So dear students, welcome all of you again in this lecture room. As today's topic is photorespiration. This is also called as C2 cycle, or this is also called as glycolate cycle also. This is also called as glycolate cycle. जब हमने पहले पढ़ा था जो सी की फोटोसिंथेसिस, उसमें हमने देखा है कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड it gets combined with RuBP and results the formation of PGA. Here is one carbon dioxide, so one carbon dioxide forms two molecules of PGA. ये कभी-कभी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है ऑब्जेक्टिव, अगर हम एक कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड को फिक्स करेंगे ड्यूरिंग C3 cycle, how many PGA molecules are produced? So it is 2. If we take 6, then there are 12 number. So for one carbon dioxide, 2 PGA molecules are produced. तो ये C3 कंपाउंड है, लिहाजा इन प्लांट्स को कहा गया C3 plants and the photosynthesis called as C3 photosynthesis. क्या कुछ प्लांट्स ऐसे भी थे जहाँ ये देखा गया कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड instead of RuBP combined with PEP, phosphoenol pyruvic acid, in the presence of pepcase. So it forms OA, that is oxaloacetic acid, that is C4 compound. So those plants are called as C4 plants, and the cycle is called as C4 cycle, and photosynthesis is called as C4 photosynthesis. But there are some plants which are actually C3 plants. वहाँ क्या देखा गया, ये कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड जो है, ये जब RuBP के साथ कंबाइन होता है तो यहाँ एक्चुअल नॉर्मली क्या बनना चाहिए, 2 मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ फास्फोग्लिसरिक एसिड, बट यहाँ क्या होता है, यहाँ एक मॉलिक्यूल फास्फोग्लिसरिक एसिड बनता है और एक मॉलिक्यूल फास्फोग्लाइकोलेट, एक मॉलिक्यूल यहाँ फास्फोग्लिसरिक एसिड बनता है और एक मॉलिक्यूल glycolate. वो 8 molecule is one phosphoglyceric acid, second is phosphoglycolate. ये जो phosphoglycolate है ये साइकिल में जाता है, तो that is why this process is also called as glycolate cycle, क्योंकि ये phosphoglycolate इसमें phosphate जो है ये इससे बाहर निकलता है, comes out, this phosphate comes out या phosphorus comes out, it remains here glycolate. So that is why this cycle is also called as glycolate cycle. Go ye how when it happens, there are certain circumstances which make a plant bound to go through this glycolate cycle. Certain conditions are there, certain factors are there. One factor is high concentration of oxygen. एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कौन से कंडीशंस प्लांट को ग्लाइकोलेट साइकिल करने पर मजबूर करते हैं. सो फर्स्ट इज हाई कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ ऑक्सीजन. सेकंड फैक्टर इज हाई टेम्परेचर. These are the two factors which if present in a place or in a climate. So those plants we show C3 cycle, they also show this C2 cycle. In those cases what happens, yem satan carbon dioxide RuB test controller RuB listen enzyme kya shasan Rubisco enzyme, but here is high concentration of oxygen as well as high temperature. So this Rubisco shows high affinity towards this oxygen, so it gets converted into Rubisco oxygenase. लिहाजा जब हाई कंसंट्रेशन ऑक्सीजन वहाँ इस क्लाइमेट में होता है तो ये Rubisco जो होता है ये कन्वर्ट होता है ऑक्सीजनेस. सो इन दैट केस दिस एंजाइम इज कॉल्ड एज रिबोज 1,5-biphosphate carboxylase oxygenase. NCERT बुक का समझिए. सो दिस यानी जो कंडीशन है आपको अगर हाई टेम्परेचर आए, second thing is high concentration of oxygen. At this time the Rubisco shows affinity towards oxygen. in this carbon dioxide. So this loses its actual or original function, so it becomes oxygenase. At that time, this oxygenase, when it combines with RUBP and carbon dioxide, so it results the formation of one molecule of phosphoglyceric acid and other molecule of phosphoglycolate. Other molecule of, so as I told you that for this glycolate cycle, two conditions are necessary. First is high concentration of oxygen, second high temperature. What happens? This Rubisco enzyme, when high concentration of oxygen is there, high temperature, it shows great affinity towards oxygen in this carbon dioxide. At that time, this gets converted into oxygenase. तो लिहाजा एंजाइम जो है इसको it's also called as ribose 1,5-biphosphate carboxylase oxygenase. Then this carbon dioxide at this such conditions in high oxygen and high temperature. So carbon dioxide combines with RUBP. This oxygenase enzyme comes here. Here I can write down oxygenase. So this gets converted this form. One molecule of PGA, second molecule is phosphoglycolate. This phosphoglycolate, it loses phosphate here and becomes glycolate, goes through cycle. That is why this is also called as glycolate cycle. वो अच्छे से glycolate cycle. But this glycolate cycle, this glycolate, it is C2 compound in it. It contains 2 carbon atoms. यहाँ तो 2 carbon इसमें हैं. That is why this is also called as C cycle. कभी-कभी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है why it is called as C2 cycle or define C2 cycle, क्योंकि जहाँ ये क्या होता है कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड in the combines with RUBP in the presence of oxygenase, so it forms PGA one molecule plus phosphoglycolate another molecule. So this is C2 compound.
Yes, sir.
This goes through cyclic process. That is why it is called as C2 cycle or glycolate cycle. So the mechanism is how this takes place. तो ये देखा गया है कि this photorespiration, अब क्या होता है यहाँ पे देखा गया है कि यहाँ release of oxygen takes place.
Yes, sir.
यहाँ ऑक्सीजन इवाल्व होता है, that is why it is called as photorespiration. वो यह क्या कर सकते हैं ये साथ प्रोसेस गसन जो C2 साइकिल ये साथ गसन जो अच्छे ऑक्सीजन इवाल्व गसन ये साथ ऑक्सीजन इवाल्व हो रेस्पिरेशन क्या चीज़ sorry not oxygen or but this oxygen is utilized sorry यह क्या कर सकते हैं here carbon dioxide is evolved फिर correct action यानी photorespiration is defined करना सब process यह carbon dioxide evolve to oxygen is utilized.
Yes, sir.
Such as respiration. The photorespiration is a sub-process. Yet oxygen gets utilized the carbon dioxide release gas in the presence of light. This is called as photorespiration. And a respiration in light results the evolution of carbon dioxide and utilization of oxygen. So this process is called as photorespiration. But here phosphoglycolate is produced or C2 compound is produced. Yes. That is why it is also called as C2 cycle. So this process this process goes in 3 cell organelles. Cell में ये process जो होती है 3 cell organelle में होती है. Number 1 chloroplast. For photorespiration or phosphoglycolate cycle or C2 cycle, we need 3 cell organelles. One is called as chloroplast, second is called as peroxisome. ये peroxisome ये chloroplast के बिल्कुल नजदीक होता है. The third is called as mitochondria. Yim cell organelle which are needed or through which this photorespiration takes place. First is chloroplast, second is peroxisome, third is mitochondria. So first what happens? Carbon dioxide ये RUBP के साथ मिलता है. मगर ये रिबिस्को एंजाइम जो होता है ये ऑक्सीजनेस यहाँ पर फॉर्म करता है एंड इट एक्ट्स एज ऑक्सीजनेस यानी इट शोज एफिनिटी टुवर्ड्स ऑक्सीजन क्योंकि यहाँ हाई ऑक्सीजन कंसंट्रेशन होती है यहाँ बिल्कुल O2 बहुत ज़्यादा होता है तो ऑक्सीजन इसको ऑक्सीजनेस में कन्वर्ट करता है तो देन व्हाट आर फॉर्मड व्हेन कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड RUBP combines they form one is called as PGA one molecule C3 compound plus phosphoglycolate so this happens in chloroplast वो ये process गژھان چھِ this happens in chloroplast in cell organ is called as chloroplast वो याद थاवो أسۍ chloroplast so chloroplast is क्या गژھان first carbon dioxide and RUBP they combine but instead Rubisco here it acts as oxygenase why high concentration of oxygen and second high temperature so here two compounds are formed one is called as PGA phosphoglycolic acid and other is called as phosphoglycolate this phosphoglycolate is C2 compound जब ये क्लोरोप्लास्ट से बाहर आता है तो यहाँ ये एक फास्फेट लॉस करता है इंसान ये फास्फोग्लाइकोलेट क्लोरोप्लास्ट में नेबर बाहर आता है व्हाट हैपेंस इट लूजेस फास्फेट यानी PO4 इट लूजेस तो उसमें क्या रहता है ग्लाइकोलेट ये तो में खाली ग्लाइकोलेट दिस ग्लाइकोलेट देन एंटर्स इनटू पेरोक्सिसोम This enters into peroxisome. या अगर ऐसे छोटा करके लिखेंगे ताकि सब बोर्ड पे आएगा इसका कुछ अलग है फर्स्ट CO2 plus RUBP in the presence of oxygenase here high oxygen level or concentration. So it forms one is called as PGA-C3 compound. Yes, second is called as phosphoglycolate. This is C2 compound. Okay. So this process takes place in chloroplast. Whereas the process doesn't it takes place in chloroplast. Here it is chloroplast. Which chloroplast is then what happens this phosphoglycolate it loses phosphate PO4 it loses phosphate so then it remains only here glycolate and as in phosphoglycolate so amazon last is phosphate group ye checks khali rosan glycolate so glycolate this is C2 compound this enters into cycle this glycolate this enters into another cell organ that is called as peroxisome. Back cell organ, another cell organ is here. So this glycolate enters into second organ that is called as tissue conversion using peroxisome. It is the site of this photorespiration. This glycolate undergoes transamination. This undergoes transamination. In addition of NH to ammonia amine group so it forms an amino acid called as glycine. ग्लिसिन जो है उसके बाद ये ट्रांसफर होता है माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया में जिसका ट्रांसपोर्ट इनटू माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया ग्लिसिन वो यहाँ क्या होता है कि जो फास्फोग्लाइकोलेट एक फास्फेट लूज करता है तो उसके बाद ये देता है ग्लाइकोलेट सो ग्लाइकोलेट इज C2 कंपाउंड देन ग्लाइकोलेट यहाँ पे चेक करो एक्चुअली पहले क्या होता है glycolate use another compound that is called as glycoxylate ग्लाइऑक्सिलेट जो है इसके बाद दिस अंडरगोज ट्रांसएमाइनेशन here transamination in addition of amine group in NH2 group which is NH2 group add. So this forms an amino acid. That amino acid called as glycine. ये तो सुना glycine बनन जो glycine है that enters into mitochondria for further process. वो इस सुना back cell organ that is called as mitochondria. तो mitochondria ये जो glycine होता है ये बाद में mitochondria में दाखिल होता है. It enters into mitochondria. Here what happens? These two molecules of glycine combine. They result in the formation of another amino acid that is called as serine. And two molecules of glycine combine, resulting in the formation of serine. That's another amino acid. Here, decarboxylation also takes place. At this point, the glycine molecule serine, but simultaneously decarboxylation here takes place. That gives carbon dioxide here at this point. So that carbon dioxide comes out. So that is why it's called as photorespiration. Release of carbon dioxide. ये तो सुनको ऑक्सीजन इस्तेमाल, ये तो सुनको जिन यहाँ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिलीज हुआ. तो साथ ही साथ जो सीरीन बनता है, ये सीरीन दोबारा it enters into this peroxisome. यहाँ हम लिखेंगे mitochondria. Mitochondria. This enters again into peroxisome. ये यहाँ again pyruvate देता है. Again, that pyruvate enters into this chloroplast. Here it forms RUBP. तो यहाँ पे ATP इसमें मिलते हैं, यहाँ पे produce RUBP. So RUBP further combines with carbon dioxide, goes again in cycle. These are the phosphoglyceric acid संचू. ये जो cycles में जैसे करना cycle मैंने सुना ये जो बेकुस RUBP सुशरण वापस बेकास है carbon dioxide. So ये potential process complete गसन. Go here 3 cell organelles are involved. One is called as chloroplast, peroxisome, and mitochondria. In chloroplast, what happens? Carbon dioxide, RUBP, and oxygen combines. They form phosphoglyceric acid as well as phosphoglycolate. Phosphoglycolate undergoes cycle. So here it loses one phosphate. It forms glycolate. It is C2 carbon compound. That is why this is also called as C2 cycle. Usually glycolate are something that further forms glyoxylate. Glyoxylate is something that undergoes transamination, forms glycine. The glycine is something that enters into mitochondria. Mitochondria is two molecules of glycine combines. They form another amino acid that is called as serine, as well as decarboxylation here takes place. So that forms carbon dioxide. Serine then undergoes this peroxisome, it forms RUBP, which again goes to cycle. Usually it's in the phosphoglyceric acid. It also goes cycle, and it results in the formation of here sugar starch. C3 go after C3 cycle but simultaneously C2 cycle. So these plants show photorespiration. In human show carbon dioxide evaluation. The oxygen utilization. That is why this is called as photorespiration. And utilization of oxygen, release of carbon dioxide, but in the presence of with the help of light. So this is called as photo. So this was given by two scientists, Dicker. These are two scientists. One is called as Dicker and Teo. Imagine scientists, two scientists. One is called as Dicker. Second is called as Teo. Yimozan here cycle, so it is also called as Dicker-Teo's pathway decision. That is also called as C2 cycle or photorespiration. Cancer plants, in some plants, it was found that during photosynthesis, there is high concentration of oxygen as well as high temperature, At that time, this Rubisco enzyme converts into oxygenase, and then carbon dioxide and RUBP combines together. Here, this oxygenase, it converts them into one molecule of phosphoglycation and second molecule of phosphoglycolate. This phosphoglycolate loses phosphate and forms glycolate. This glycolate is C2 compound, therefore it's called as C2 cycle also.
Yes, sir.
So here 3 cell organs are needed for this process. One is called as chloroplast, second is called as, third is called as mitochondria. This is sequence. One second objective, the 3 cell organ is involved for photorespiration. That is skin. Tertiary organ is skin side. What is it? Chloroplast, what is it? Mitochondria, what is it? But skins. But what's the chloroplast? Then peroxisome, then mitochondria. So, once what you should challenge. It is challenge for C4 plants. Because C4 plants carbon dioxide waste that is C3 cycle. But if high concentration of temperature, high concentration of oxygen, then it is challenge for those plants. But given C3 plants, it nullifies this fact. In C3 plants, high temperature, high oxygen concentration, at that time, this photorespiration nullifies the effect. So the process is called as C2 cycle. So this is wastage of energy because carbon dioxide loss. So wastage of energy takes place, but it nullifies the effect. Climatic conditions, if there will be high concentration of oxygen, or there will be high temperature. So this is called as photorespiration or C2 cycle, or this is also called as glycolate cycle. So one that last topic, factors of photosynthesis. So I think this is section part 8. Thank you.